Good evening, everybody. Dave here at the Reef Aquarium shop in Indianapolis, Indiana. Today, we are going to be talking about cloudy water and what we can do to fix it. Now, this can actually be a pretty loaded question, so we actually have a decent amount to talk about this evening. Now, before I get started, if you do have any questions about what we're talking about, the aquarium hobby in general, or the Reef Aquarium shop, please feel free to drop those in the comments, whether you're watching this live or not, and we will do our best to get those answered for you at the end of the stream here. Before we do get into cloudy water and how to fix it and why some of these things work so well, I do want to take a minute and talk about our website, TheReefIndy.com. TheReefIndy.com is pretty much a hub for everything for the Reef Aquarium shop. Here you can find our homepage at TheReefIndy.com directly. Gives you our store hours and directions. You can find our blog here as well. Not only do we have all of that, we have a shop that you can go and purchase items from. We have a service department. You can click right here on services and it'll take you to a section where you can actually schedule a service for yourself and request an appointment. Another feature on the website, and one of our favorites, is the in-stock list. It gives you an updated list of all the new stock that came in for the week. It is not a full stock list, but it is a very large list, nonetheless, updated every Friday. So definitely go check that out. While you're here and hanging out on the internet and checking out TheReefIndy.com, please do also check out our Facebook page. We are also on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and yes, right here on YouTube, and plenty of content for you to check out there. Speaking of YouTube, if you've watched our content before and have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and bell notification. That's going to let you know every time we post new content and every time we go live. We did just post, I believe on Friday actually, a new video, a quick lesson on how to do a basic water change with your bucket and standard siphon. So definitely check that out if you have not already. And let's jump into why we're here today. What's going on, Rob Aquatics? Yes, that is true. Rob says that we are almost to 1,000 subscribers, and we are super, super excited about that. If you are not one of those subscribers yet, please, again, go ahead and do so now. We would love to have you. And as always, with our new and existing subscribers, if you do have ideas for content that you'd like to see or questions that you want answered, again, drop those in the comments of just about any video, and we will check that out and try to make content that you want to see. That being said, we are going to go ahead and jump into the topic at hand, which is cloudy water. Now, in the beginning, I did say that this was a loaded question, and I mean it, as far as how do I get rid of cloudy water. And that should lead to another question, really, is it's why is the water cloudy? Because that is going to directly affect how we are going to treat the water. So we need to know what is actually causing the cloudiness, and there are a lot of different things that can cause cloudy water, but the three biggest things that are going to cause cloudy water is one, particulate in the water, which is just tiny microparticles floating around making your water cloudy. The next one, and probably honestly the most prominent one, is going to be ammonia spikes. If there is too much ammonia in the tank, you're going to end up with cloudy water. And then finally, there's green water, which is obviously when your water turns green and cloudy. If it's an ammonia cloud, it's going to be white and milky. Particulate sometimes ends up being the same, but maybe more so a darker brownish yellowish color than a whitish color, but particulate can still be more of a whitish cloud too. Green water, however, is just single-celled algae floating around in your tank, making your water green. And there are things we can do to prevent that as well. I'm more so today going to be focusing on the particulate and the ammonia cloudiness, because those are the ones that have the most varied, well, maybe not so much the most varied, but those are the ones I'm going to focus on currently. Honestly, algae can be a whole live stream all to itself, which I am probably going to do here soon, as far as doing product reviews or product overviews, as we've been doing here for the past few live videos on algae removal and products that are going to help you do that. So that, again, will be in a different video today. We are focusing on particulate and bacteria blooms and things of that nature, and how to identify and get rid of those. I guess the first thing I want to talk about is Clarity. So that's going to be this product right here. Clarity is probably the #1 product that people go to grab when their tank is cloudy. And it is a fantastic product if you have an issue with particulate. If that's what's causing your cloudiness, the Clarity as well as Clear Magic is going to work fantastically for you. And if there is an issue with bacterial blooms and it's an ammonia spike that's causing your cloud, then these aren't going to be as effective as some other products we're going to talk about. But I wanted to talk about Clarity and Clear Magic first, because they are very similar in what they do, and they just come in a couple different forms. So the Clarity here is going to be a liquid supplement, and it is a coagulant and flocculant, basically. So a couple years ago, Mark Rober, if you're familiar with the YouTuber Mark Rober, he put out a video explaining basically how these types of products work, but he was discussing it with a product that makes drinking or bad water safe to drink. And it's honestly the same basic concept that saves thousands of lives. Is something that's been used in aquariums, just not to, we're basically missing a step for the aquariums, because we don't want to be adding chlorine into the water. That would be horrible for the fish. So the way Clarity works, that's a liquid supplement. The Clear Magic is going to be a powdered supplement. Comes in packets, good for up to 30 gallons. But what they're going to do is first a coagulant is going to take effect, basically binding these microparticles. It acts kind of like a magnet, binding these particles together into small, maybe 1 millimeter or so sized particles, and then the flocculant is going to take effect, which is going to gather up all of these particles that have been magnetized together, essentially, and it's going to bind those together to make them even larger. You can see those like even up to like a centimeter. If your tank is dirty enough, when you put Clarity and Clear Magic in, you can actually see it precipitate in your tank. Although in an aquarium setting, you really should never see it get quite that bad. But I have been in one situation or two where I have seen it in person for myself, and the tank has actually precipitated with junk in the water that this has just bound together. And then it'll drop to the bottom. You'll take your siphon, and just suck it out with a water change. It'll be there easy and just larger particles to pull out. Another way that this can come out is basically just through your filtration. As these particles are binding together and getting larger, it's much easier for your mechanical filtration to pull these particles out of the water. So you can even combine the Clarity and Clear Magic with a product such as API's Super Microfiltration. Now, yes, I am fully aware that this is a product specifically made for a Philstar XP canister. That does not mean you can't actually use it for other applications. You can cut this pad to fit the size of a hang on the back filter insert and have a super polisher basically just pulling all of this combined particles out of your water. Now, if you do something as fine as the super microfiltration, you're going to want to pay attention to the tank, because if you do have a particulate issue and you're running a particulate binder, those can get clogged up pretty quick, and you don't want to run into a scenario where you could potentially overflow your hang on the back filter or something like that, or clog up whatever filtration it's in. You can still be tossing this in other canister filters or other similar products. By no means is this API Super Microfiltration the only product this is going to do it with. It is just my personal favorite because the mesh is so super fine. But it doesn't always work for a lot of applications. But if you just beef up your mechanical filtration, that is going to help pull those extra particles out of the water. And that is particulate binders, such as Clarity and Clear Magic. Now that we've discussed the particulate binders, let's talk about a different source of cloudiness, and that is going to be ammonia or bacterial spikes. This is going to typically come in the form of a white cloud, and because that typically is going to come with higher ammonia levels, you can actually end up with a secondary cloudiness issue with green water, because something like that is just going to be power feeding algae, and so you could again end up with a secondary issue on top of an ammonia spike. So it is important to really get that under control. Now, we want to take this at the root cause here. So if you have an ammonia issue, there's some things we can do to treat it, but what we really want to do is figure out the source of the extra ammonia. Is your tank too overcrowded? Are your fish producing too much waste for your beneficial bacteria to keep up? Is it a new tank that we've maybe stocked a little too quickly, maybe not overcrowded, but your beneficial bacteria aren't quite up to spec yet and need some more developing? So in cases like that, and there's definitely more ways that your ammonia can get high in your tank, and the answer to that is going to be a water change. Honestly, that's really with both these things, particulate and ammonia. Water change is going to be in your future here. I just usually switch up the order I'm doing it. So if it's a particulate issue, I'm going to dose the Clarity and Clear Magic and let that particulate settle before I do my water change. However, if I'm having an ammonia issue, I'm going to be going for something like Algon or Stability, or really any sort of bacterial stabilizer, right? Because the answer to getting rid of an ammonia cloud is to power feed your beneficial bacterias so that they can actually, or add more beneficial bacteria so they can actually overpower the ammonia, as simple as that, and that's going to clear your water right up. In this scenario, with ammonias being the source of the cloudiness or a bacterial bloom, you're going to do your water change first. You can typically safely go up to 50%. in most cases, I don't recommend doing more than a 50% water change in just about any scenario if you can help it. Reason being is that if you go over 50, you do risk removing too much beneficial bacterias, and that's going to not be a good thing either. So even if it's 24 to 48 hours apart and we're pounding it with stability or some sort of beneficial stabilizer, you still don't really want to go over 50%. You want to give that time to recoup. Anyway, that is more of a tangent than anything else. Let's talk about stability and Algon and what they're going to do. So stability is basically just, it's one of the most popular beneficial bacteria boosters on the market. You can actually be using this in saltwater or freshwater, and all of these products do work in both. But with things like this, it's basically going to be putting microbacterias and enzymes into the tank. And again, we have two different forms here. Stability, of course, is a liquid form, and most of your beneficial bacterial stabilizers are going to come in a liquid form. I really enjoy Algon. It's actually advertised specifically for algae. I use it kind of just in general, especially if you're having the cyanobacterial algae. This is fantastic at breaking that down a little quicker and getting your beneficial bacteria up to snuff to help fight that down. But the Algon packets, you actually just put those in your filtration. You don't even actually have to put them in your filtration anywhere in your tank that's getting flow, but they are just white packets, so I typically hide them in my filter somewhere. But you're going to leave that there and just replace it as it kind of just ages. Typically, I'm doing it every month or two. Switching them out, and what I'll do is I'll actually start a new one before I'll pull out the old one, just so I can keep it stable and not fluctuating my levels or anything. Not that it's going to negatively impact anything, but just for the effectiveness of it, I like to just stack them like that. But yeah, basically water changes and boosting your beneficial bacterias with something like Stability, Seed, Special Blend, Microbacter 7. You can even go with the turbos from the turbo starts from Fritz. There's both a saltwater and a freshwater one. Any of that is going to help with your cloudiness. But again, water change is going to be your biggest thing, and testing your water to find out exactly where your ammonias, nitrates, and nitrites are sitting is going to be very important in this process as well. So if you do come up to your tank and, oh no, it's cloudy, then the first thing you want to do is test your water to figure out if you are having an issue with your bacterials or if this is just a particulate issue. Now, I do want to discuss a couple more things, and this is basically going along the lines of keeping your water clean in general. So here I have Purigen. Now, specific to water clarity, this is basically going to, if I could just get it in front of the camera, that would be great. Now, specific to water clarity, this is just a good thing to have right off the bat as preventative of cloudy water. It's going to pull extra organics from the water. It's just a synthetic filter resin, and a lot of people use this in place of carbon. I am one of those people that use this or similar products. There are other things out there. This just happens to be my favorite. But Purigen is going to basically polish your water and keep it free of organics. If you have tannins in your water and you do not want the tannins in your water from driftwood or leaves or something like that, Purigen is going to suck those tannins right out. Now, it again, keep in mind, if you do want tannins, this is not for you. This is going to just remove them. And a lot of people really like their tannin tanks. There's a whole community around it, and I love that. It's super cool. The other thing is this guy in the back, and I actually set this up poorly. I can't reach it from where I am. But in the back we have Cyperax. This one's from Sarah. It is a biological media, and one of my personal favorites. A lot of people will swear by ceramics, and this is set up very similar. You can even get the Cyperax in the rings just like you would ceramics. But it is a much more porous and way more absorptive material than ceramic is. I forget actually off the top of my head like how many times, but it's like a significant number of times more absorptive than ceramics are. It's amazing. Hands down, one of my favorite biological medias on the market. And again, it does come in several different forms. They even have a variety that helps remove phosphates from the water, which tends to reduce algae in the water as well. But if you keep your bacterials in check and give them plenty of habitable living space, you're typically not going to have very many issues with bacterial blooms and things of that nature. So I hope that I have given you a good coverage of things you can do to your tank, or things you can at least investigate when your tank is cloudy. Again, you do want to find the source of that cloudiness. That is number one, the most important thing you need to do when you come across cloudy water in your aquarium. Why? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my tank? But that is the most important, the important question to answer, and that is directly going to affect how you treat this, because you can't just blindly put one of these items into your tank. I mean, they're all safe to put in your tank. If one doesn't work, try the other, of course. But if you actually want to fix the issue and not just guess and check around everything, you definitely want to figure out the source of your cloudiness. Is it particulate? Is it a cloud bloom? Is it something else, or a bacterial bloom? Is it something else, such as green algae water or something like that? Which, again, we did not discuss in this particular live video, but we will definitely be doing an entire video dedicated just to algae itself, which is why I kind of saved that for later, and we won't be discussing that in this one. All right, let's check. Looks like we don't have any questions in the comments, so we are going to wrap up today's live stream. I hope that you got some good information off of this video, and if you did, again, please go like and subscribe to this, like the video, subscribe to this channel, and if you haven't done so already, please check out TheReefIndy.com. We've got tons of stuff to look at here, so definitely dive in, check it all out. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and right here on YouTube. All you have to do is search The Reef Indy, and we will be there. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Had a fantastic time talking about cloudy water and how to fix it. We will see you next time. We actually have not been keeping up with doing these weekly, and we are going to attempt to get better at that, and start doing these weekly, but B, we are going to try to be a little more communicative when we are actually going to be going live. And as Rob Aquatics mentioned, we are almost to 1,000 subscribers, and once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will have our own community board, which we will be able to make announcements on, which will be super, super helpful. So again, if you're not subscribed yet, please help us out and give us a subscribe, and that will help us us keep you updated and not waiting on anything. So again, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been fantastic. We will see you next time. And if you want to catch us again, next week, I keep forgetting to plug this. In the back of my head, I'm going, plug this. Next week, May 4th, we will actually be on with Dave from CChem, and we are going to be talking about some of the new hardware items that have come out, such as the skimmers and reactors and things of that nature. So I'm super excited about that. So you can join us next week at 6:30. And we will be there. You can also find us on Facebook this Friday, going live. We do that every week, every Friday. We go live on Facebook to give you a quick room tour and show you what's going on in the shop, both saltwater, freshwater, product, all of it. So check us out there as well, and we will see you soon. Bye.